Yo, this is like Call of Duty.
That's when you call the professionals.
Oh, whoa.
They do it right.
Oh, wow.
They do it quick.
Professionals, the worst fucking form I've ever seen. Hey guys, welcome back. Tiber2 here today with some Call of Duty Vanguard. This is the alpha, or is it the beta? They don't actually really know. It's an alpha, it's a beta. Here at Call of Duty, we don't know the difference between an alpha or a beta or full release or what. How do you make video games again? So this is the Vanguard Alpha. We'll go with that. Could be a beta, could be an alpha. Who knows? They don't know. I don't know. But today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the game and how it was when I played it. This was the free alpha on PlayStation 5 as well as the 4, but I played it on the 5. And I got some thoughts about it, and I'll let you guys know. I'll preface it all by saying that I played Modern Warfare for almost its whole life cycle, and I played Cold War for about half of its life cycle, and many CODs in the past, of course. I've also played COD World War II, which I'm going to be referencing a bit during this. Now, this seems to be built right on Modern Warfare's engine, this new COD, but it is by Sledgehammer Games, the people who made COD World War II. Now, to me, the game feels like it was patched together pretty fast, basically just a copy-paste of Modern Warfare. Honestly, playing it felt like it was just, I don't know, like a World War II DLC for Modern Warfare. Like, nothing here was new or improved upon, and furthermore, I think it was actually much worse than Modern Warfare or Cold War. I believe this COD is honestly the worst COD I've played since... I don't really know even. It's worse in every way, and what I mean by that is that it is in the Modern Warfare engine, so it has mounting, which is a red flag and extremely awful feature that I just wish wasn't in COD. It shouldn't be in COD. It's truly like the death of COD, mounting, honestly. SBMM and mounting together basically ruined COD for me, and basically the entirety of the point of COD is ruined by mounting being there. Anyways, mounting returns in this game. Along with it, the movement engine is basically the same, except it feels clunkier and slower, and I don't really know how that happened. But in Modern Warfare, you were much faster moving than you are in this game. And that's even when I do have the perks, like when I have double time on in this alpha, I still like slide jumping is much clunkier and slower. Your character just feels heavier and slower. And again, it's like they're slowing COD down. On top of that, the weapons lost all of their feel from Modern Warfare. For people who've played Modern Warfare and Cold War, one of the biggest complaints I saw was people moving over to Cold War and saying that the guns have nowhere near the level of sound design, you know, recoil, smoke, and effects coming off the gun, and just that punch that they had in Modern Warfare. I didn't really like the direction Modern Warfare took, but I will gladly say that the gun design and audio design in that game is extremely well done. The guns sound really, really good, and they feel good. The guns feel good in that game. From the moment I played the alpha to when I stopped playing the game, the guns felt good. In Vanguard, that is not the case at all. I don't know what happened. Like, they just did the exact same engine. It's obviously the same engine with slight tweaks, but the guns are just ignored. It's like they skipped over making any sort of gun feel at all. The guns have no punch, no recoil, and the audio design is just that same bland, you know, just bap, 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 like on par with Cold War. It's just sort of shooting sounds. It's not like, it doesn't have that punch, and you don't really know what I mean unless you play it or like feel it, you know? Also, there's no recoil on this gun. It doesn't have any.
The SG?
No,
I bought the
SG-40.
SG-44. There isn't recoil on it either. It doesn't exist.
No. So it's Cold War, it's not Modern Warfare.
Like,
Modern
it
Warfare
actually
without the
doesn't
skill.
have recoil.
You know, neither does this gun.
Like, if you play Modern Warfare, you're doing a full spray or something like that. The gun's barrel is smoking. You know, the gun actually kicks and recoils and punches around. You know, bucks around. Like, it's a gun. It feels like a gun. Whereas this, again, just sort of feels like the Call of Duty laser beam, where none of these guns, with no attachments on, they don't kick. And then as you progress in this mode, you get even more attachments, and the gun is just like an insta-kill, any range machine. Not to mention the huge step away from immersion that this game took. I already know within the first 3 months of launch there's going to be anime girls and goth titty girlfriends running around anyways in a World War II game. But even with that said, the guns are covered in attachments that would obviously not exist in World War II. Way too nice of sights and stuff like that, which, you know, if you enjoy a World War II game, that's going to pull you out of it. It is COD, obviously, but it's still something that one would need to mention. On top of that, there's a lot of women running around, which wasn't exactly a thing on the front lines in World War II. I'm not going to get into that whole Battlefield 5 sort of debate all over again, but they're definitely not going for any sort of a realism feel, which was another thing that Modern Warfare sort of did well. For those like mil-sim boomer dads, they liked that sort of, this is like the military kind of feeling that it had, where it was straddling the line between being semi-realistic, at least in the way that the world and the characters were portrayed. This has none of that. It's not a World War II game, it's just a game with a World War II skin on it. And even then, it's a bunch of, like I said, women, and it's going to soon be flashy clothes. And, you know, we all know where it's going to go. It's not going to look good cosmetically for long. It's not going to look like a World War II game for long. Now, talking about that cosmetically and the way it looks, the game is, of course, brown washed, as is the World War II. You know, that's one of the problems with making a World War II game. You get a lot of browns and grays, but Modern Warfare also had a lot of browns and grays, which, you know, I prefer Cold War a little bit, you know, brighter, nicer to look at, nicer maps in general. But of the 4 maps that we had in this, they were all sort of gunfight maps. 2 of the 4 maps you would spawn in visually staring at the enemy. You could shoot the enemy as you spawned in. I don't really have to explain why that's a bad thing. There's no spawn protection, and the spawns are awful. There's plenty of times where you'll get permanently spawn trapped, where you will spawn in with someone shooting you already as you spawn. You know, classic COD. They refuse to improve on an extremely broken core feature of the game, and it's just as bad, if not worse, here. These are obviously gunfight maps, and that would occasionally happen in Gunfight before, but it is much worse and more prominent here, especially when you're playing on maps people don't even know yet. You actually do, I'm not kidding, spawn in facing each other. Like, he's on your screen, you can shoot him the second you spawn. Off the beginning of the round. Like, that shouldn't happen, and it does, multiple times. So now they made it the worst one on purpose.
Yeah.
This guy right across from me. I just hit him like,
what the fuck? Yeah, I just saw one too.
Of the 4 maps, 2 of them are decent, 2 of them are abysmal. You can't really play them at all. So that's about 50% of the content. There weren't that many guns to choose from, but all of them you've seen before. All of them you've used before. If you played COD World War II, you know exactly what the weapon meta already is in this game. If you know even anything about World War II, you already know what the weapon meta is in this game. It's all the guns you would have already expected. Nothing, you know, impressive in the loadout or the armory, anything like that. It's the MP40, the STG-44, the bar, you know, the Car 98. It's everything you've already seen before if you played Battlefield fucking 5, if you played COD World War II, if you've played any Medal of Honor game. Like, you've seen it all before. It's nothing new, it's nothing exciting, in my opinion. All that said, I only played the one mode that we had ability to play, which was Champions Hill or something like that, something Hill. It was okay, it wasn't the worst mode ever. It was sort of a mix between gunfighty kind of a mode, also being like round-based and buying and stuff like that throughout. It wasn't made in the worst way, honestly. I didn't mind the money system or the buying per round and stuff like that. But thanks to mounting, it just became this sort of camp fest where people spawn in, immediately mount up, and they won't move. You know, it's supposed to be COD, it's supposed to be an arena arcade shooter at its core, and thanks to mounting, that is not the case. It's a fucking camping, waiting to get shot from a head glitch simulator, where people just sit completely still, and if you want to do well, you have to sit still, and that's not fun for me or for most COD players, I would imagine. It's not what you play COD to do. Fucking sit mounted somewhere. Sadly, that's exactly what this is already becoming, even in an alpha state, with no progression, no huge, you know, need to win. You don't need to fucking sweat constantly. People are still mounted up, and it really kills the fun. Really, you know, drives me away for sure. And I honestly didn't see anything in this game done better than Cold War or Modern Warfare. It's worse than both games. It's worse than Battlefield 5. It's worse than Battlefield 1. There's nothing, honestly, there's nothing really good for me to say about it. I'm not just saying that because I'm excited for the new Battlefield or whatever. I went in expecting it to be bad because I don't think anyone wants another fucking World War II COD. Like, no one wants that. And I went in expecting it to be bad, and it was worse than I thought. Like, I thought, since it was on the Modern Warfare engine, it would at least be as good as Modern Warfare. Or, like, you know, a World War II version of Modern Warfare. But it lacks in a lot of ways. The guns, the movement, you know, the main two fucking things in COD are both worse. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. There's going to be another couple Call of Duty Vanguard videos coming out. I didn't even touch on the lawsuit or anything like that. If I were to give you my opinion, I would say don't buy this game. At least just based on the alpha and the lawsuit, it's not somewhere you want to put your time or your money, in my opinion. That's about it, guys. See you in the next one. Bye. Be at least 2 more Vanguard videos if you do like COD Vanguard. One that's going to be just pure gameplay, and then another one as well.